How do you accidentally meet your real father without knowing it? For years, I never cared about ancestry stuff. My parents always said we were boring German-Irish mix with nothing interesting in our family tree. But my girlfriend Emma kept bugging me to do one of those DNA tests for her college genealogy project. She bought me the kit for Christmas and literally stood there watching me spit in the tube to make sure I'd actually send it in. 3 months later, I got an email saying my results were ready. I was expecting the usual European mix, maybe some random Viking thrown in. Instead, I'm staring at 52% Italian, 30% Irish, and 18% Eastern European. I'm this pale redhead who burns in 5 minutes of sunlight. I thought the lab mixed up my sample with someone else's completely. I called the company to complain, and they walked me through double-checking everything. Sample number matched, collection date matched, everything was totally correct. The customer service lady suggested I might want to talk to my parents about family history I wasn't aware of. That conversation with my mom went exactly as badly as you'd expect. She got super defensive immediately, saying the test was obviously wrong and I was being ridiculous for believing some internet company. But something in her voice sounded really off, like she was hiding something big. My dad wasn't home from work yet, so I decided to wait and ask him separately when he got back. When he walked through the door, I showed him the results on my laptop. His face went completely white, and he sat down hard at the kitchen table. "We need to have a serious talk," he said quietly. That's when he finally told me the truth I'd lived 26 years without knowing. I wasn't his biological son. My mom had an affair with her coworker, Tony, when they were going through a really rough patch early in their marriage. When she got pregnant with me, they decided to stay together and raise me as his own child. "Tony doesn't know about you," my dad said. "We agreed it was better that way for everyone involved. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. Tony still worked at the same plumbing company as my mom. I'd met him dozens of times at office parties, company barbecues, and holiday events. He'd always been super friendly to me, asking about college, my job, sports. I thought he was just being nice to the boss's kid. Now I'm realizing this man had been watching his son grow up from a distance for years without knowing it. He'd probably been wondering why he felt so connected to me, never knowing I was actually his kid the whole time. I couldn't stop thinking about it for days. This man had been in my life for years, probably feeling some weird connection to me, never knowing I was his biological son. I decided I absolutely had to tell him the truth. I couldn't let him keep wondering. I showed up at the plumbing company the next day during lunch break. When I walked into the office, the secretary said Tony was in the workshop. I found him under the hood of the company truck, and when he saw me, his face lit up like it always did. "Hey kiddo, what brings you by today?" I asked if we could talk privately somewhere. Once we were in his cluttered office with the door closed, I pulled out my phone and showed him the DNA results. Tony stared at the screen for what felt like forever. Then he looked up at me and I could see tears starting to form in his eyes. "I always wondered about that," he whispered softly. "You have my dad's exact same green eyes and the same stubborn cowlick I had as a kid." He'd suspected for years, but never said anything because my parents seemed happy together, and he didn't want to destroy their marriage over a suspicion. He'd been carrying this secret, watching me grow up, wondering if I might be his son, but never being able to ask anyone about it. "I've been wanting to be part of your life in a bigger way for so long," he said, "but I didn't know how without crossing major boundaries." We talked for 3 hours straight. He showed me pictures of his parents, my biological grandparents, who died when I was little. I looked exactly like his father at my age, down to the same freckle pattern. He told me about his side of the family, medical history, personality traits that suddenly made perfect sense about myself. When I got home that evening, my mom was waiting for me in the living room. She'd figured out exactly where I'd gone. "You had no right to tell him," she said, starting to cry. "This is going to ruin everything we've built. Now I have 2 dads, the one who raised me and the one who made me."